So here we are in Coconut Grove, right here in sunny South Florida, arguably the vacation capital of the world. So what better topic to talk about than vacations? Vacations have the potential to deliver immense joy into our lives, and yet they happen over incredibly short periods of time. The average person takes about 2 weeks of vacation. But what if I told you you could have 1 year off, fully paid? What would you do? Where would you go? What would you want to accomplish? Well, to put it in perspective, if the average person works a 30-year career and they take about 2 weeks vacation a year, over the course of that 30 years, they'll work about 29 years and they'll get just about 1 year off. So there's the year off. See, vacations, they're like a rare gem, and I'm going to show you how to make the most of them every time. I first started to realize the incredible effect vacations could have on my life when I was about 10 years old. My family used to visit this resort outside Los Angeles where I grew up. It's a beautiful place. This huge pool and a very, very tall diving board. And I was afraid of that diving board. I never had the courage to give it a try, and finally, the summer of my 10th birthday, I promised myself that I was going to do it. So we drove up to this resort, I jumped out of the car, changed into the bathing suit, and ran over to the pool. And all day long, I stared that thing down, trying to get the courage to walk over and give it a try. And as I started to climb that platform, I remember how my heart raced. And about 20 feet away from me, there was a telephoto lens focused right on me. And behind that telephoto lens was my dad, ready for the perfect shot. And here's me on that diving board. Now, is it just me, or does it look like that thing's like 2 stories tall? I'm standing right there in the middle of the board. And I remember thinking to myself, jump off the board or climb back down? I looked back over at my dad, and I realized this is an important moment in our relationship, a moment to bond and connect, and to prove that I could do it. So I decided to jump. By now, you can probably figure out I made it into the water safely. Vacations allowed my family to connect in a way that simply wasn't possible during normal weeks. My father is a cancer specialist. He took care of patients nearly 24/7. My mom stayed at home with us to take care of our every need. I remember seeing my mom smile on vacation. It was her time to relax and feel free and special. My family made the choice to take us away on vacations, and I have deep, positive memories from these times together. Probably a highlight was a family trip we took to Hawaii. We went to the island of Maui, and we rented a Jeep so we could explore the island and immerse and learn about it. And here we are in that Jeep. I'm standing there like a military general, ready for any adventure. My sister's hanging out next to me. My brother's thrilled to be in the front seat with my dad. Given the positive impact the vacations had on me growing up, I promised myself I would do the same for my family one day too. And flash forward about 35 years to today, and our family loves to vacation. More than that, I've actually become an expert in the field of vacations. Now, I'm not a travel agent. I don't get to vacation all the time. Instead, I lead strategy for the largest vacation company in the world. And I run one of the most famous brands in travel right here in North America. And for the past 5 years, I've led some of the most extensive research into vacations that's ever been conducted. My teams have surveyed over 100,000 travelers across 6 continents in 6 languages. We've talked to thousands of experts, and we've literally reviewed millions of surveys from happy and not so happy consumers. So we started off this research to answer 2 questions. First, how do we get people to vacation more? And second, how do we help people get more from vacations? Now, you'd think with all the positive benefit the vacations deliver, we wouldn't have to convince people to vacation more. But when we dug into the research, we discovered that not everyone takes all their vacation time. This was true all around the world. In North America, there were 662 million unused vacation days left on the table last year. To put that in perspective, that's the equivalent of 1.8 million years of vacation time. Think how much of the world you could see with 1.8 million years. But more than just getting people to vacation more, we also wanted to help people get more from vacation. So we conducted focus groups. Now, focus groups are where we take consumers, heavy vacationers, medium vacationers, light vacationers, and we put them into a room, and we ask them to solve a problem. In this case, we said to them, plan your dream vacation. And I sat there behind mirrored glass, and I watched thousands of hours of focus groups. I snacked on more peanut M&Ms than anyone should ever have. And as we watched these people plan their dream vacation, what struck me was that everyone started in the same pattern. They all started with, where should we go? What are we going to do? Who are we going to go with? And watching these thousands of hours, no one started with the question of, why are we going? So we went back to the research, and we discovered that there are 5 primary reasons why we vacation. First, to relax. Second, have fun. Third, to connect loved ones. Fourth, to immerse. And 5, to learn. Now, your given reason for vacationing might change from time to time, and it might even change based on who you're traveling with. For me, personally, my primary motivation when I vacation is typically to connect with my family. So you'd think with all this expertise, I'd be pretty good at vacation taking, right? Well, it turns out that I realized I wasn't that good. You see, a few years ago, I had this eureka moment about my own vacation taking. My wife and daughter said to me that while our vacation times were amazing, they felt like I was letting barriers get in the way of our time together. In particular, for me, it was work. Work was getting in the way of us achieving the time together. So I asked them to give me some examples. So they started. So we went to Disney World together, and I literally spent the entire day on emails. My wife and I took this dream vacation to Lake Como, Italy. And in between ferry rides, between Tramezzo and Bellagio, I was on conference calls. What did she do? She looked out at the gorgeous blue waters in search of George Clooney. And it finally all came to a head at a beach resort right here in Miami Beach when my cell phone literally dropped in the water. And for a period of around 3 days, I couldn't access anyone in the outside world. And at first, this was torture for me. But then I started to realize that this was an unexpected gift, because without that phone, I was able to achieve my vacation goal, which was to connect with family. So I realized I had to do some soul searching, and I had to apply all my learnings and figure out how to change. So here I am back at 10 years old, out of the swimsuit and in a business suit. This is who I am. I've always been kind of focused on being successful, focused on life, focused on doing everything I can do. But this is okay 50 weeks out of the year. For 2 weeks out of the year, my family needed me to be someone entirely different, someone lighter, someone better, someone stronger. And here's an example of the kind of change I had to make. So whatever your change is, or whatever you need to do differently from the 50 weeks out of the year to 2 weeks out of the year, that's the revelation that I had. So I want to give you 3 pieces of advice to help you get the most from your vacations. First, set a goal for your vacation. This is the why. This is what matters. This is what's most important. Let's go back to this grid that I showed you before on why we vacation and who we vacation with. As I said earlier, for me, it was all about connecting with family. For others, it might be about hiking in the Himalayas with total strangers. But I want to show you an example of how powerful this can be and what it feels like when you get it right. So I'm going to show you an example of someone who's a perfect intersection of self and immersion. This is a photo, and before I show you this photo, I'd like everyone listening to join me and take one full, deep breath in and out together. I'm going to show you what it looks like when you get self and immerse right. Anybody want to feel like that? Second, You have to build a culture that supports time off. So we went back to all this research and we found all these people that didn't take their time off. But then when you dig another layer deeper, even when people do take their time off, they're working on vacation. 75% of people say that they work all of or part of the days they're on holiday. And when you dig another layer underneath the research and you ask, why are these people working? It turns out that they'll tell you that their work cultures don't support taking time off. 2/3 of the people told us that their bosses, their colleagues don't support the time off. So we need to take steps in our workplaces to support each other when we take time off, because time off makes you better when you return. So I've decided to model this behavior with my employees, and I've taken some pretty bold actions to do that, and I want to give you an example. About a year or so ago, a colleague of mine, someone on one of my teams, let's just call him Bill, went on a romantic getaway with his girlfriend. And while he was away, we had a conference call related to a subject that he was a part of, and I was expecting about 20 people to join the call. And on the conference call, there's this chime every time someone comes on and people announce themselves. And there were about 20 people that joined, and we're about to get started, and a 21st chime comes on. I said, who is that? He said, it's Bill. I said, Bill? He goes, yeah. I said, aren't you on vacation? He said, yeah, but it's okay. But I had a plan for this. I said, okay, everybody, the call's over. Bill, enjoy your vacation. The rest of you, check your email for a new dial-in number. I literally changed the dial-in number. And that's the kind of action you need to take to help your work culture support vacations. Third thing is, make your personal why happen, no matter what. Avoid your kryptonite. For me, that was always checking in at work. For others, it might be thinking about something back at home. But it's important to make it happen no matter what. And I'll give you 3 quick pieces of advice to do that. First, separate between what's important and what's urgent. It's not always possible to completely let work aside, but you got to be good at prioritizing what really matters. Second, if you do have to check in, set aside specific time to make it happen. Quick example, on a recent vacation, I woke up extra early, 6 a.m. in the morning. I worked for 2 hours, got the things done I had to get done, and by 8 a.m. my family was up, ready to go for breakfast. Now I felt better because I had the things done I needed to get done, and they felt amazing because we could enjoy our time together. And third, don't be a martyr. Turns out that one of the reasons people work on vacation is because they want to be perceived as a martyr by their boss. And this is 41% of the people answered this way. And when you go back and you check on these people a few months later, it turns out they were less likely to have a raise or a promotion than those people that took their time off. So to bring it all together, there are 3 takeaways I hope you take away today. First, set a goal for your vacation. This is the why. Second, build a culture around you that supports time off. And third, no matter what happens, make it happen. Now, it was really this eureka moment that I had a few years ago that led me to this point. And whatever it is that motivates you in life, I want you to focus on that as well. I owe a significant thank you to my family for making that happen. And to the rest of you, I have one simple message, which is you all deserve an amazing vacation. Thank you.